All right, today we're tackling a big one. It's from a book called The Ageless Brain, and it's built around this really bold promise. You know that fear, that feeling that losing our minds as we get older is just inevitable? Well, this work challenges that head on. So, is cognitive decline just a fact of life, or could there be a whole other path? Let's dive in and see. So it all really kicks off with this one question, and it's a question I think is probably on a lot of our minds, right? Is losing our mental sharpness, is that just something we have to accept as part of aging? It's this deep, nagging fear. And for so long, the answer has kind of felt like a reluctant, yeah, probably. And look, this fear, it isn't just some abstract idea. We've got the numbers to back it up. By 2050, it's projected that 13 million Americans will be living with Alzheimer's. I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. 13 million. It's absolutely staggering. And it's why this conversation is so urgent. Okay, so first, let's really get a handle on the sheer scale of this problem. Because we're not just talking about individual stories of heartbreak, as real as those are. We're looking at a massive and so far pretty much unsolved public health crisis. So if we look at the picture right now for adults over 65, here's what we see. About 10% are living with dementia. Okay, but then you add another 22% who have some form of cognitive impairment. You put those together and you're talking about almost a third of all older adults. That is a way bigger slice of the pie than I think most people realize. And here's a major heads up. This is not just a problem for our parents' or grandparents' generation anymore. The source material is really clear on this. Diagnosis rates are actually climbing in younger adults. We're talking about people in middle age who are already dealing with things like brain fog or constant fatigue, and they're worried, rightfully so, about what it all means down the road. This thing is starting to touch everyone. And you know, this is where the real frustration kicks in. Think about it. We've made these incredible, mind-blowing leaps in treating things like heart disease and cancer. We've got strategies, treatments, real progress. But when it comes to the brain, it's like this stubborn final frontier where we've just been spinning our wheels. The progress has been painfully, frustratingly slow. So if the old ways aren't cutting it, then what? What's next? This is where the whole story takes a turn. It pivots away from that old sense of doom and gloom and introduces a completely new way of thinking, shifting from inevitable decline to active prevention. And the person right at the center of this new approach is Dr. Dale Bredesen. He's positioned as a real pioneer in this field. And his whole idea isn't about just putting a Band-Aid on symptoms. No, he's about getting to the absolute root of the problem and stopping it before it even has a chance to start. And this isn't some fly-by-night idea. His approach is built on a rock-solid foundation of expertise. I mean, we're talking Caltech, a Duke MD, chief resident in neurology at UCSF. He was even the founding president of the Buck Institute, a major research center on aging. The point is, Dr. Bredesen has been on the front lines of this work for decades. And this quote, right here, this is the core promise of the whole thing, pulled straight from the source. And you got to pay attention to the words being used here. It's not about slowing decline. It's about preventing it. It's not just about avoiding disease, but creating sustained brain health. That is a huge shift in thinking. We're moving from just managing a disease to actually building a resilient brain that lasts a lifetime. Okay, but a claim that bold, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, right? So you have to ask, is this just one guy out on a limb? Or are other experts in the field actually taking notice? Well, let's see. First up, we have Dr. David Perlmutter, who's a huge name in brain health. He says this work basically proves that old sense of helplessness wrong. And he doesn't just call the book helpful or interesting, he calls it essential. Then we've got Dr. Terry Walls, who just cuts right to the chase. She makes it super personal. The message is basically, if you have a brain and you care about keeping it, you need to read this. It's not just an idea to ponder, it's a tool for you to use. And check out this last one from Dr. Stephen Gundry. He pushes the whole idea even further. He says the goal here isn't just to preserve your brain, hold the line against aging. It's to make it substantially better at any age. That completely reframes the conversation. We're not playing defense anymore, we're on offense, moving from just prevention to full-on optimization. Okay, so with that kind of support from other experts, the next question is pretty obvious, right? What does this new approach actually do? If I want to take action, what does it, look like in practice? Well, at the end of the day, it's a program. A concrete preventative program that's designed for pretty much anyone, at any age. And the goal is simple, really. It's twofold. First, optimize your brain health right now. And second, keep it that way. Sustain that high level of function for years and years to come. So who is this really for? Well, it's for you if you want to stay sharp and independent for as long as possible. It's for you if you've seen a family member go through cognitive decline and you've thought, I can't let that happen to me. It's for those of us who are already noticing a little bit of brain fog or fatigue and want to get way out ahead of it. Really, it's for anyone who understands that their ability to thrive and enjoy life is completely tied to their brain health. So, all of this, it really brings us to one powerful final thought. It's a call to action, really. A call to completely reevaluate the role we think we play in our own cognitive future. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's the shift in perspective. It's about moving away from this old idea that our brain's future is just some genetic fate that we can't escape, and moving toward an actionable strategy that puts us in the driver's seat. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. It's really the whole idea behind this work boiled down into one single provocative thought. It challenges everything we've been told for decades and asks you to consider a brand new possibility. What if your brain's future is way more in your hands than you've ever been led to believe?